Jacqueline! Come here, sweetheart!
I can't help but wonder why he gave his pet that name to begin with.
What do you mean? I find it very charming. Oh, what a lovely place for a confession. You two. I chose to keep any conversation we had going with all the spirit I could show. Heaven help me if I were to think too hard about us being alone together. I think it's very like him to give a cat a woman's name to distract himself from the loneliness of being unwed.
That is beastly, Miss Whiteley. And indeed, I meant why he chose a woman's name.
Is it really a problem? She's a darling girl.
If I may correct you, he's a darling boy.
Very well, then.
Unfortunately, he also doesn't appear to be here.
I don't see him either. I thought it would be the perfect place to sunbathe, but perhaps not.
Well, it's done. We should go back down and reunite with the...
As Holmes turned to go down the stairwell, he halted. It was easy to see why. What? The door's just closed. Oh my goodness. Everyone is trying so hard for you two, I can't believe.
What cruel fate! It seems the lock is broken as well.
I could hear a muffled marple from the other side. Mm-hmm. You guys are all here.
Holmes! Emily! Nothing's wrong, is there?
We're perfectly fine, but is it true that the lock is broken?
It sure has. What a shame, too. I can't see it being a quick fix for us.
What in heaven's name are you gathered here for?
Get him, Akachi. Call him out. Akachi's voice, twinged with suspicion, joined the crowd.
The lock on this door has broken, trapping Holmes and Emily on the rooftop. Truly, it is a tragedy.
But, Miss Marple, I can see the key to the door right in your head.
It can get cold on the rooftop, so we should run off and let the teachers know straight away.
We never did finish his sentence. Akachi? Did something happen?
He's doing fantastic. In fact, he was the first to go find someone. Only the best from our class representative.
We'll take care of looking for the ring and Jacqueline till the door's been fixed. So you two enjoy some PRIVATE time together, alright?
We'll see you again in no time. By all means, relax and enjoy yourselves.
If you insist. Thank you. After that, silence. We truly were left with no recourse but to wait. This reminds me of when we were locked in that storage room. It wasn't the same, thank goodness. We were trapped, but it was outside and on a beautiful day. Even the chill to the air had a positive bite to it. If anything, I felt liberated.
Miss Whiteley.
What is it, Holmes? Right as I turned, I'd lost the will to speak. Holmes was standing much closer to me than I had expected, and staring with a bold directness at that. I felt as if I wanted to shrink on the spot.
I was only going to ask if you were feeling cold. Why do you seem so surprised?
No particular reason. I was reminiscing about the past and you caught me a bit off guard. It was when we were locked in together.
Ah, yes. I remember that.
He was determined as could be to get out that night, even going as far as to send those emergency signals with my hand glass. He's been looking after me since the day I enrolled here. And where is he now? Standing right here, still at it. I could see signs of his kindness with such clarity now. It was almost ridiculous. How could I have missed these? Part of me felt as though we'd only met recently, and then there was a different part of me who felt as though he had always been there. Whatever the time it had taken, I knew I'd changed. Both of us had.
Miss Whiteley, I regret to interrupt your fond reminiscing, but this does bear mentioning. Do you understand the situation we're in?
Of course. We're to endure the cold until the door's lock is repaired, yes? No. Holmes put his palm to his forehead and gave a great sigh. I could see the faint plumes of his breath as he did so.
You're as careless now as you were then.
Well, I never! And that means what?
Since you haven't noticed, I'll enlighten you. The lock isn't broken.
What? But it wouldn't even budge when I tried to open it earlier.
Of course it wouldn't. It's locked.
Goodness! You don't think they locked it, do you?
Who else would?
But why would they?
Because, by God, you are gullible. You shouldn't be so eager to believe every word someone says. You believe before you doubt, and so you let them use you. You stick your neck into things, knowing full well you only stand to lose more than gain. I've never met a woman as naive as you.
Don't say it again! And you're one to talk! Like what? As I felt the spark of an argument ready to flare between us, I raised my head to look Holmes in the eye. He was meant to be frowning, or perhaps despairing over my back answers, but that wasn't what I saw.
Yes, I suppose you're right. You've helped me many a time simply by being who you are.
He was smiling the kindest, most gentle smile, even up to his eyes. It wasn't the first time I'd seen him smile like this, but I could count on my fingers the number of times I had. The first time was atop the Tower of London when I couldn't stop crying. The second time was before engaging Colonel Morin, which made this only the third. And third time's the charm.
No matter how much I tried, you astounded me in every conceivable way. Why would you go to such lengths for others? Why go to such lengths for me?
The sincerity, however, was a first. It was a trial for him to tell me this, for his tone was barely above a whisper, and his nerves vibrated to the imperfect composition of anxious music with every syllable. The same would have applied to me as well were I to respond, but I didn't want to miss a beat. He accepted my tears. I wanted to accept his heart.
I only had my answer when I was in your position and wanted to help you. I don't want you to be taken from me. By anyone. Just as you believed unwaveringly in me, even when I was made to be a criminal, and even when you were in the path of danger because of me. I never want to let go of these feelings I have for you. I understand you're of the nobility and that what I feel isn't meant to be, but society be damned.
What he said moved me. The intensity at which he touched my heart spread through my entire body and kept building and building to the point where it was nearly painful.
Once I noticed that, I found myself forced to face my many inadequacies. I was unreliable, powerless. At the time, the thought of relying on others was so humiliating that I would have rather died. But once I was used to it, I started to think it wasn't so terrible. And I have you to thank for... Miss Whiteley?
Oh, silly me. I'm crying again. I worked to wipe away the tears that fell as quickly as I could, but they seemed to have finally had enough of building up within and refused to stop. It isn't because I'm sad. I swear it. It's because...
Not to worry. I know. I would never say anything to hurt you. You really do love yourself a good cry, Miss Whiteley. If you're going to start making a habit of it, you'll have to start drinking more water or you're liable to shrivel up.
I can't help it. This was stupid. I wanted to argue with him all over again, but the tears prevented me from doing much else, and so I sobbed like a child. This is so absurd. I'm elated and angry at the same time. How ridiculous. It's awful. Before I came to this school, I was much stronger than this. I didn't cry in front of anyone. And I was never so much of a coward that I would be racked with worry wondering how you thought of me. And I wasn't a greedy girl. Not so much that all I could think about was how much I wanted to be with you, or that I didn't want to be hated by you. But now I'm a mess!
I know that too. I can tell because that's who you are.
Holmes slowly extended his hand to me. I closed my eyes, the pinch seeding another swell of tears, after which I could feel something new brush along my cheek. Holmes was caressing me ever so softly when I opened them again. Though my face was tingling with redness, I was cold and sensitive, so it seemed as if the feeling were the center of my world.
Still, if I'm already making you cry, I've set myself up for my fair share of trouble down the line.
The tremble in his voice was now gone, replaced with a familiar sigh and sense of resignation. He traced along my skin, wiping my tears away with his thumb all the while, even to the extent to only just touch along the very end of my lashes. Whatever curt thing he said, serious, jest, or otherwise, was nothing to me. The sweetness of his actions told me everything I needed to know. His fingers are freezing.
Judging by your testimony, I would assume I'm correct that I'm the reason you're crying right now. Which means I have a duty to dry your tears.
That's a rather funny way of putting it.
Stay still.
Oh! Oh! Yes, 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 yes! Oh, I love all of this so much! The thumb which had been along my cheek was now at my chin. Holmes?
Don't run away.
He held me in place in a slight yet firm manner, refusing to let me go. Or perhaps he could not bear that I might leave of my own accord. At least, that's what I thought when I saw that flicker of apprehension, like a child fearing rejection beneath his show of confidence.
You were the one who said that you wanted to be with me. So please, don't run away from me.
I was so tense I'd forgotten how to speak. How I wish I could. There was so much more I wanted him to know. The only thing I could manage was a small, awkward nod.
Thank you.
I didn't have the confidence my sign would reach him at first, but the flicker I had caught was now nowhere to be seen. Very delicately, he raised my chin upwards so all my focus was on him. I was grateful for his lead right then, and I leant into it blissfully. Our breathing entwined, melted into one. It was the only tingle that dabbled along my lips as he drew closer. I nearly stepped away due to an instinctive hesitance of the unknown, but by good fortune, his hands were there to support me. He drew closer, and so did I. We were close enough that I could almost... I was waiting for Mr. Mackenzie to be like, I have saved you! He paused. Was that Jacqueline? That luxurious black fur and collar were unmistakable. That was the same cat we saw from the classroom window. And what luck! In his mouth was the very ring we were all in a tizzy for. Oh my! As any clever creature would, Jacqueline must have caught wind of our plan to take his plaything and slithered across the rooftop in one swift motion. If he gets away, that's the last we'll see of Holmes's ring! We need to catch him! I motioned to dash off after him when Holmes tugged my arm back to him. You workaholics, take a moment to smooch!
Weren't we in the middle of something?
Even when I obliged, he didn't let go. Come now, Holmes, you need that ring! He wasn't being particularly aggressive with his grip. Far from it. I was more curious why he would stop me. If I wanted to shake him off, I could do so with ease. What is he thinking?
I'd prefer if you wouldn't trivialize my efforts, Miss Whiteley. I don't need a ring to prove my worth as a detective. I shall do as my profession naturally demands. Not even the smallest piece of evidence can scrape past my observations. Which means I've no intention of letting this chance escape me.
By chance, you couldn't mean... Oh, but he could. I knew what he was referring to, but I hadn't the trust in myself to indulge it. Am I truly good enough for you?
Good enough. I could never want anyone else.
And here I thought I'd had my fill of tears. There they were again, on the verge of bursting through a dam from the pressure. But Holmes, it's not trivial at all. It's from Her Majesty. It's proof.
Well, yes. It puts no spring in my step to see it being treated as some cat's toy, certainly.
He cast a brief glance in the direction where we had last spotted Jacqueline. He stopped moving.
There it is.
What? I followed his line of sight. You're right!
But how? Didn't he run off with it?
Holmes picked up the ring from the ground, still seemingly mystified by it being there, whilst he observed it for authentication. He never let go of my arm the whole time.
What's this? There are biscuit crumbs all over.
That's odd. But what if it weren't? I thrust my hand into my pocket with a start. And just like that, the mystery had been solved. The biscuits Marple had gifted me not long ago were distinguishably absent. I could even spot the adorable pink paper they were wrapped in near where the ring had been. I wonder if I dropped them as we were searching. The scent must have been absolutely divine for him to be unable to resist with something already in his mouth.
I don't know how I feel about my ring being less appealing than biscuits.
And it showed, coupled with the tiniest snarl of his upper lip, his nose scrunched with perplexity.
I am convinced anew that nothing good comes from socializing with animals.
I'm just glad you have your ring again. All is well.
Well, I suppose. Your serendipity solves the case yet again.
My luck is brilliant, yes, but I also have the rare mind to utilize it when it strikes. I cannot pretend to have intentionally contributed to this outcome. It was by some other fortune entirely, which made me realize I could help Holmes while standing on my own 2 feet. I had been capable enough all along, and I was overjoyed to discover this capacity within me.
That you do. Well done, Miss Whiteley.
Did I mishear him? I expected something more snide.
I wonder how I shall go about thanking you.
Whatever for? The range of his personality continued to surprise me. We met when he was cold, then he went from coarse to considerate, tender, wonderful, and then finally he was thankful. It's quite all right, really. It was simple enough.
All you'll need to do is accept that my heart is yours.
And there it was. Mine? In a confident motion, he drew me to him. It was so unexpected that I stumbled, but he saved me from the fall. He caught me, his arms wrapped fully around me, and his fingers pressed along the small of my back, and when he leant closer... Ah, thank you. I would have died if they hadn't kissed now. Like, don't you dare leave that for another episode. Oh, I'm so happy. He thanked me with a kiss. Holmes, you're nearly frozen, you poor thing. That's what's going through your mind as with your first kiss from Holmes, girl. I could feel how the winter prickled at his lips. And yet there was something refreshing to it, as if the dry chill tasted more real than the dewy warmth of spring. Were it anything else, I would have been the first to believe I was dreaming. At that same instant, something else occurred to me. A kiss wasn't simply a kiss in its appearance, but an entirely new level of understanding. a mountain of contrast in texture, temperature, and touch. How strange. Like the chill and heat of a fever blending together. His fingers slowly felt upwards till they reached my cheeks again, and in time I couldn't conceive, the bite of cold from his kiss melted. The heat stretched through my entire body in an overwhelming wave. Again, the arms which had pulled me so close embraced me. That childlike fear of rejection faded to a hope and need to protect me. And it worked. I no longer felt the winter, nor did I care for what was beyond the rooftop. It was only me and him. I don't know when he finally stepped back.
Did the concept of closing your eyes not occur to you?
You had your eyes open for some of it then if you saw that. With that, the silence had been broken. What my eyes were doing was the last thing on my mind. How was he so composed? With the moment over, I nearly preferred the thought of bursting into flames over taming my growing bashfulness. What agony! This may have been perfectly gladsome behavior for you, young man, but my head felt as if it was going to spin right off my neck and float away.
Lest you assume otherwise, I only want to kiss those who are deeply important to me. That means I want to kiss you. Only you. Head attached or off in the sky.
Unbelievable. You're a shameless man no matter what you do or say. I suppose I would always be the one dancing circles around him till I was dizzy from the rush of it all.
Miss Whiteley, I'm of ordinary status, and you're a woman of the nobility. The way the world expects us to live is entirely different. What I'm doing here is no doubt far removed from societal norms. That's what relationships between social classes are. But no matter what others may think of it, I want to be the man who takes your hand. Will you take mine?
I love the genuine way he asked me this. Just as you intend to continue your work as a detective, I intend to continue defending my family name. There will come a day when I stand as head of House Whiteley, and I must shoulder all that encompasses. You would still extend your hand to me, knowing this? I was fully aware how cowardly it was to answer his question with one of my own.
You were the one who took back my ring. You protected my pride. In turn, I swear to protect that which matters most to you. Together, with you.
He answered as if he'd been waiting to say it the entire time. Holmes, I wanted to give him that same unwavering trust in return. I was ready now. I opened my mouth to speak.
My apologies, Miss Whiteley, but might I ask you to wait 3 minutes? I've had just about enough now!
What could this be about, I wondered, but the mystery was resolved in less time than requested when he walked to the locked door. Which he then ceremoniously kicked open.
God! Were you trying to kill us, Holmes? What were you thinking? I could ask you the same question. How long have you all been here?
Huh? Let's see now. Well, after Jacqueline, you two...
I've heard enough. Don't say another word. Don't even breathe.
I thought you a better man than this, Holmes. What made you think it was appropriate to flaunt your perversions on the Academy grounds?
You can be quite aggressive when you set your mind to it.
I'm not hearing this. I don't want to hear another word!
Holmes made the shift from kind to cross in an instant. He was flushed to his ears, even. He's embarrassed now, too, isn't he?
There's no need to be like that, Holmes. Think about it. The hardest part's still to come. I'll be with you during your row with Pendleton. You have my full support. Your support is neither required or desired.
If he kills you, I'm handy enough to build you a gravestone.
I don't plan to die anytime soon, so your services are unrequired as well.
I must insist on curbing any and all improper behavior within Academy.
I will make you regret living if you dare hurt her, Holmes.
There's little point in saying the impossible.
Holmes had countered every comment with a crisp retort of his own, shutting down concerns left and right one after the next. Knowing all he said to be true, a smile couldn't escape me. Holmes!
What? Miss Whiteley? Not you too?
Neither could my wanting to run and hug him with everything in my heart.
Really now? Not even 3 minutes.
Forgive me, but 3 minutes is too long. At the moment, 3 minutes, 3 seconds was an eternity. If it came down to it, I was nearly ready to clobber him over the head with how I felt and what I wanted to do. I've dreamt of taking your hand. No matter what happens, yes. Yes, indeed. As long as I'm with you, I feel as though I can do anything.
Why, you're quite a bold young lady, aren't you? But it is my honor to be the one man who can make your dream come true. I would love to extend you my hand, Emily.
So he did. His hand was now before me, and I felt along the creases of his palm gracefully with my nails, more from the thrill of the moment taking place than any sort of demurity before our fingers interlocked. I did wonder if it was too intimate before our friends, but I still didn't want to let go. I was gonna say, they literally heard you guys smooching through the door. I think this is fine. I knew there would be days where this decision would cause me to worry to no end, have me break down in tears, fits, and the like. But what were a few tears? I had chosen an adoring, vulnerable hand to love me. He would protect me with the greatest love he had to give, be the day shining with hope or labored with pain for him. That was fine. Very fine. For I too had the strength to guide him when he needed it most. A few tears were nothing given the reward. I could say in this moment that I was now proud of the tears, fear, and detours which led me to here. I would never ever let any of it go. My memories, my journey, his hand which I loved the feeling of when it held mine. There was now no night of fog too thick to keep me from taking another step forwards. One woman to him! Achievement unlocked. Gloves. A pair of gloves lent to me by Holmes whilst pursuing our case of romance. Oh. The door to a new story in gentle sleep has been opened in the extras section. New destinies have been discovered. Who could these men be? And there are more wishing to take your hand than ever before. I just finished giving my hand to somebody. Excuse you. Destined end. Is that the end? Really? I'm shocked. I thought for sure there was gonna be stuff with Moriarty and stuff, but it's just like, nope. Ya smooched, you done. How intriguing. So we just hint at Moriarty, and that's the end. That is not how I was expecting that to go at all. What an absolutely adorable and sweet end to that, though. I loved that. That was great. That was a nice heaping pile of sugar right at the end, Mr. Holmes, so thank you very much for that. Wow. Because I was wondering, I'm like, wow, we're actually gonna, like, do a proper kiss and stuff before we actually finish everything? With Moriarty and stuff, but it's like, no, you're done. It's fine. Watson, are you on a horse? I swear. Yeah, look, like, Mycroft Jr., Moriarty, we didn't come across any of these people. When did we come across you guys? Wait. Hold on. Oh. Do you only get, like, the full story once you finish everybody's routes, or... Man, I'm so intrigued. That was great, though. I love the heck out of that. Huh. That was so unexpected. I'm just sitting over here like, wait, it's done? It was so long, and then it was just done. Hello, Lupin. I love that you take his hand, and then it's like, and there are more men that would like to take your hand like these two gentlemen. Would you consider? I just gave my hand to somebody, excuse you. Can I like revel in it for 2 minutes? 3 minutes? Thank you. Very kindly. Oh, that is so funny. Huh. Well, I guess I'll just wait for this to finish and see if there's like a epilogue. But I think there is an epilogue, but you have to do it in the extras. So we'll look at that after. But we'll see if there's any after credits stuff, specifically. Maybe it'll be like Moriarty cackling to himself in the darkness. Like, ooh, there's more to the story. We'll see. What a delight, though. An absolute delight of a game. I enjoyed that so much. It was so well written. Such a satisfying smooch confession thing. I'm glad they didn't drag out too long, them being done with each other. That always drives me crazy. Like, no, you guys, you did the thing. Don't regress 5 steps. Drat it all. I would have loved to have seen the Pendleton Holmes showdown, though. That would have been great. And we didn't solve our parents' murder either, I just realized. We got some stuff. Oh! Spoilers! My pearls! Well, we'll be spending a lot of time near Lupin's face. That's not really a surprise. Oh, hello, Akachi. Alright. You're getting me excited for future routes. I see. That's fine. There's our boy, though. Our sweet boy. And so the sun sets. The end. Brava. Well done. Bravissima. And that's that? Wow! Okay, I need to go look at extras real quick before we wrap this. Homes after. In gentle sleep. Sweet! Alright, well. We'll leave that for another day, shall we? Thank you guys very much for joining me for our first run-through of this game and Holmes's route. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Yeah, let me know if you're as confounded as me. Yeah, and what you thought of it. I loved it. It was great. I just was not expecting the story to end quite there, but I'm alright with it. I'm intrigued, to say the least. And yeah, I can't wait to see what the epilogue has in store for us, so hopefully I'll see you there. Until then, guys, I will see you later.